the fiddling is part of the joy of
Yeah.
guitar.
Screwing around with things takes away from your opportunity to play in these small windows that we have available in our current
Right.
lifestyle as two fathers of two kids who are under 8. The time to play and the peace and quiet, or the opportunity to be loud, is limited. And I was just thinking about, what do I do to ensure that I can play guitar to the extent that I need to? Because if I don't play, I'm not right. And I was thinking, like,
Yeah.
is that, and it's weird because it's true. Like, I don't want to say that like addicted to playing, but it's really more of like that activity brings me joy and relaxation to where it makes maybe other stressors go away or feel more, more able to be overcome. I was thinking about things like, like, again, like kind of the concept of everything's ready to go. I have everything plugged up, ready to go, and I don't even need to turn on amps. Like, I have it set up on my board here where I've got, not sponsored content, but my Waves PRS supermodel amps set up, ready to go. I made my own presets that I like, that I know work with my guitars, and then I just plug it in, and then I can play as loud as it feels, as loud as I want it to feel, minus like the air blowing on my legs. Um,
Right.
and then it's like, and I can get that in like a 10-minute window of like, maybe it's post dinner shower playtime, and they're like screwing around and whatever, and I can play, or after bedtime, wife is working on stuff, and I can say, yeah, play guitar. I don't know. What do you do that affords you the freedoms to play and make the noises you need to make, or practice? I guess you could practice if that's a
Well, I mean,
thing you want to do.
I actually do a lot of practicing now. Now that Christine has her guitar, she plays
Click that.
at least every other night, if not every night. And a lot of times, this is something that Fender has on Gibson, is they'll just take it down and play. Fenders need to be tuned maybe once a week, unless you're really just slamming them. That straight neck, it will, the headstock will keep things in tune. So I find myself often just taking the Strat into the living room, and I'll just do spider walks while she's, practicing
So
whatever
you guys
she's
you guys
practicing.
do parallel guitar practice.
Yeah.
So you find that the 30 seconds or 15 seconds of tuning, that open space opens your heart up to playing more faster, like that gets that kickoff experience better, it overcomes that
Yeah. I
obstacle.
mean, there's definitely something to be said for, I just walk up, boom, grab it off the wall. I don't necessarily have to hunt, for the little tuner, and I also don't have to plug it in to the pedal board to get, the tuner or what have you. I can literally just yank it off the wall.
But this is you
Um,
sitting acoustic on the couch with an electric.
Yeah, it's me sitting on a couch with electric. I'm also blessed by the fact that she doesn't yell at me for playing an unplugged electric. I remember I had a girlfriend years and years ago who hated the sound of unplugged electrics, though. The ding, 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 ding,
Well,
ding,
you know
ding,
what
ding.
though? The tonality from an unplugged electric tells me a lot about how, like, my enjoyment of that guitar, because I really like the vibration feedback of
Yeah,
like my SG. Like, I can feel it in my soul when it's playing, and it's
right.
and that's plugged in or not. One thing that you have a delightful office there, as do I, but the volume that comes out of your, I see the classic 30 there. I know from having the exact same amp, even at 2, it is very loud.
Yeah.
How is the orientation of your house so that, again, are you playing that when the kids are asleep? If there's a lunch
That
break,
amp
what?
I'm not playing when the kids are asleep. I just can't. I mean, right now, I believe it directly above my office is the sewing room, and then, but over that way is the girls' bedroom. They are both asleep in there.
Hmm.
What I use is the AC-10, which is a much quieter amp.
Yeah, and that's in the
But
basement, right? Or is that
no,
in that
no,
room?
no, no, no. I've got the AC-10 off in the corner. It's a much more tame amp.
Hmm.
I'm not playing Southern rock on it.
But if
It
you're,
it it
again, like, to me, the enjoyment, like, again, I think I'm higher gain than you are, but one
Yeah,
thing that I really enjoy is that sound of, like, I'm pushing the speakers, I'm pushing the amp, and while a 10 watt you are pushing, like,
yeah,
that enjoyment I need is from, again, like, a great time is like, hey, in the window I can crank up the 140 watt penta and get it like crushing, like, that's just so good. and you can't trying to do that on, like, a little pig nose or something isn't the same experience.
There's a
Yeah.
time for everything. I mean, on the on the weekends, then I can go out to the garage where I've got my solid state and I can crank that thing.
Yeah.
And that's when I can take a guitar out and just make it roar. Now, granted,
Mhm.
I'm standing in a garage. I'm not going to take my custom out there.
Why
I
not?
don't. Oh, well, I mean, going from a 68-degree house to
Mhm.
a 95-degree garage,
Just
I'm sure that'll do wonders.
imagine you're playing at Bonnaroo, like, you're going out
Yes.
into the farm. I don't know, I think, but I think conceptually that's why, like, modeling amps, the helixes, I've got my simplifier. I think the fact that you can have something that's close to the experience of that cranked amp is why those things are so popular, and the simplicity, and so the simplifier I like because I don't have to have any OS updates, I don't.
You find your moments when you can. You take what you can when you can. So if the kids are outside during the day on the weekend, if I look out my window over there and I see that they're on the swing set, oh, all bets are off. I'm turning on the classic 30. I'm plugging in and I'm turning it up to 3,
Oh, man,
which in
3.
this room is as loud as my ears will take.
Well, you also
um,
have it angled up, you have it tilted up
oh yeah,
there.
yeah. I have it angled up so that I'm actually listening to the goddamn amp.
I have mine on a
Um,
rack, and it's sitting up about 5 feet,
mhm.
so and then I had it up at 4 earlier, is amazing. You say you find your windows, you find your spots, and also another thing I think is important too, again, I think it's really critical that everyone, keeps music alive in themselves however they can. Not everyone is as lucky as we are to have 1 or 2 rooms dedicated to, making music, or even the time to do it at all, so, again, I think it's great, that's where something like a parlor guitar, you throw it in the in a bag when you go camping, you just play a little
Yeah,
guitar where you can. I like to
I,
take that
I
in the backyard when I'm sitting around, and I don't have to worry about it getting impacted by anything because it's like I don't necessarily care about it that much. And you have 2 little kids, what do we spend a lot of time, introducing the kids to instruments because hopefully they respect the instruments more, and try not to destroy them. In the first couple episodes, it was a lot more carnage. Practice holding it right. Let's practice like treating these things with respect. So that way, again, you have more together time at some point as you play. I know my kids love wah wah pedals. That's like their favorite because it's fun. The rocker is great. And as she had noted today, again, she had previously requested a custom made skeleton guitar. That again,
right.
she's 5, so I'm sure that will change. But she's now declared that she wants to play ukulele, which is fine. Again, I have a actually really nice ukulele, so it's like she has to still play it in our presence because she's 5 and will lay it on the floor and then not pay attention and sit on it or stand on it. What do you do with your kids to culture them into instruments and guitar and things like that?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing any guitar playing person with a 3-year-old needs seriously is a ukulele. It is the perfect instrument to introduce them to it. They aren't super expensive, and it sort of like gives you a nice little primer on
Mm-hmm.
a guitar like instrument, and they just freaking love them. I've got cheap little, $30 toy ukulele, which sounds terrible and can never be
Yeah,
tuned.
I
I
freaking
mean,
hate toy instruments.
I hate it. One of them, one of the strings will not tune. I can sit there for
No,
20 minutes and it will never get into tune. I then
toy
got,
instruments are the freaking worst. Such a waste
yeah.
of money and resources. I'd much rather like
I mean, I've
not
got an
no toy
actual
instruments.
ukulele.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It's not an expensive one, and I don't mind that the girls play it. And in fact, actually, that's the ukulele that Christine used to
Mhm.
get into guitar now. So it's got a place sort of near and dear to our hearts there.
Strings and frets, man, strings and frets.
You know, it's there's something about it.
And
But
one day you're
I
gonna
mean,
find her in bed scrolling through Reverb at night, just, like, endlessly looking at guitars, and you're like, "What happened? What did I do to you?" Just gonna be
I'll just look over.
scrolling at
Oh,
guitars.
what's on your watch list, dear? And then she'll be like, "What's on yours?" Nothing. I
No.
mean, that's the problem with kids is kids will rat you out. Daddy, are you looking at Reverb to buy more guitars? No, I'm looking at Reverb just to look,
No,
okay?
yeah, no, I got Shira trained right. She grabs the Sweetwater catalog out of the mailbox, runs it to her room with a Sharpie, and circles all the ones she wants, and then says, "This is her magazine," and then is like, "I need these." And yeah, so I put those on my Sweetwater watch list, and then she'll also scroll through Reverb and start and put things on the watch list too. But those are less um,
Hey,
curated.
my watch list has Epiphone,
Mm-hmm.
the what is it? The SL1 is what they call it. It's the melody
Uh-huh.
maker. It's
Yeah.
got two
Did you
pickups.
see the 60 cycle hum video on that?
I probably have a while ago, yeah.
Ryan
I
didn't
mean,
like it.
well, he's
He is
not
the
the
end
market.
all be all. No, I mean he is the market. He's the affordable guy, right? He's
He's
got a
the
whole bunch of.
affordable guy, but I wouldn't buy it for me. But because it's a shorter scale, oh,
But they
I'd
have
buy it for
Epiphone. Epiphone has their new line of the little people guitars.
well, yeah, I mean, they've got that, and then there's also the mini Strats,
Yeah,
um,
I don't know.
and the mini Jaguar, I believe it is. I think there's
I
a
don't know.
mini Jag.
I'm like a year away from like real guitar lessons for Dez. I think it's
Yeah,
Hannah too. And
yeah.
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure exactly how I want to approach that. Like, do I think that I don't have the jacks? Do I think the dinky is the right size? Again, when I was, well, I mean, I started playing guitar at 13, so like, I know I saw kids there who were like 8 and 9 who had the half and 3/4 size guitars, and I was kind of confused by that. And I was like, I'm not sure if I would want to do that. I'm not sure. I don't know. What do you? I guess yeah. I guess you have
I
to
would,
because it's
yeah, I would go
the size,
3/4
like
size with them.
physically holding a thing. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
even with them, I mean, Hannah, we actually literally just measured her today. She is now almost 46 inches. She can ride the rides on Disney World.
Oh,
She's happy
oh
about that.
man, we were just
Oh
at the
yeah,
Montgomery County Fair, and so we're greatly aware of how tall the kids are at every moment. But I did tell
hmm
because she was just under the line where she could go on there, but I told her like, just act like you own the place. Don't ask any questions. Don't linger by that sign, and just like get your ass on the ride. And it
yeah,
worked like 85% of the time, and that was fine.
85 per
Like
85% of the time it works all the time.
yeah, no, it
So
did. And in fact, the only time she got pinched, there was a backup and she happened to get
yeah,
stuck like right by the sign. The guy's like, "You got to get out of line." But then she came back later and just like walked right through, like she owned the place. It was perfect. And then there's another time where there's a kid who was definitely like smaller than her who was in front of her, and he got pinched right away. And then the guy's like, "Oh, farts! You're not the right height either. You got to get out." But
you see, that's when you got to
it's
teach your
okay.
kids how to do payback at the fair. You know how to
What's
do payback at the fair?
what's that?
You you keep with you at in your pocket a bolt, like a deck bolt,
Okay.
and then when you're done on the ride, if you want to get payback, as you're walking off, you say to the operator, "I found this."
I thought you were gonna say like any clobber him in the side of the head. You
No,
say
no,
that's
no. You
payback.
say, "Oops, I found this." Oh, that'll just cause so much hell.
No, he'll be like, "Yeah, you didn't see that." Less fiddling,
More playing.